My name is Crystal Cavey, Mrs. Galaxy 2020, and this is my interview with the Pageant Project.
Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and I am here with Crystal Cavey, who is newly your Mrs. Galaxy 2020. Crystal, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I just got crowned less than 2 weeks ago, and you are my very first live interview.
I'm honored.
All the way in Australia.
I know. Well, someone's got to do it. I just got to ask, how does it feel being crowned? What was the emotion? If I take you back 2 weeks, I can't believe it's already been 2 weeks. But what was the emotion when your name wasn't called out, which meant you had won?
Which meant I had won.
Yep.
So, you're standing there and, well, the first thing is you want your name to be called for the top 5. So the first thing is I'm like, call my name. I was called second in the top 5. I was like, okay, I made it to top 5. And then you're standing there and you're like, okay, don't even call me. Don't call
exactly.
me. Let's just keep on going. And it gets down to the last 2. And it was somewhat bittersweet because I really do adore my first runner-up, who obviously got crowned as well with the brand new first runner-up title. I was very happy for Whitney Montgomery. We had a great week together. We truly bonded. I had watched her compete at Mrs. Galaxy twice.
Right.
She competed when my daughter competed 2 years ago.
Right.
And she competed this year with me. And it was really amazing. And I remember thinking that my knees gave out. Like I knew my knees. Maria posted all the photos today on the Instagram.
I saw them, yeah.
If you want to get a really good laugh, go to Miss Galaxy Pageant on Instagram and scroll through my pictures and you're going to get a good laugh. But I knew my knees had given out. And praise God that Whitney had caught me because we were both going down.
Oh,
no. I was elated. I was elated. So as I still am today, I'm still on cloud 9. And the best thing I could say is it was just a moment that I had worked very hard for 369 days for, and it came true.
Wow, 369. You know the exact number of days.
To the day. I know exactly the number of days it took from the announcement of Mrs. Latina Galaxy to the moment that Mrs. Latina Galaxy was named Mrs. Galaxy 2020. So I worked very hard and I'm still to this moment on cloud 9.
Okay, you have some of your well-deserved coffee. I'm going to go to the comments. Guys, you know the drill. If you have any questions or comments or just messages for Crystal, put them in the comments and I'll pass them on. So Sandal Taylor has said, so excited and happy for you. I can't wait to watch your year. Love you so much.
Thank you.
Rebecca Jane Everson over in the UK, who also will be hopefully coming back next year. The Ms. She has said, good evening,
yes.
Adrian and the ultimate queen.
But thank you.
We have one Maria Torres joined, and she has said, my queen, with 2 hearts and a crown emoji. Hello, Maria.
Well, she's my queen.
Christine Kohler has said, hi, Crystal, we love you. Tiffany Wells has said, we love you, girl. Guys, if you have any questions, put them in the messages below. Otherwise, I'm going to keep interrogating Crystal. I'm getting so many names mixed up in my head. We've got Crystal here. We've got Maria watching. It's like, God, everyone's watching. Crystal, let's start with the easy question. Give us an idea as to your pageant background, your pageant experience, and how this crazy journey started.
So I did not compete in my very first pageant till I was 37 years old. My daughter was competing as a preteen and somebody walked up to me and said, you should consider competing in a pageant. And I laughed. I was like, girl, I'm 37 years old. And that was literally what went through my head. And that's how I felt. But I went home and I said, maybe I will compete. And really the first time I ever competed, I only competed so that I could help to better understand what my daughter was going through when she competed. And so I walked across the stage and I won. I won a smaller pageant in the state of Wisconsin, and I went on to compete at Mrs. Royalty International and won. I went on to compete for Mrs. Illinois America and won. I became the first Puerto Rican in the state of Illinois to ever win. And then I went on to be the shortest in the top 15 that year in 2016.
Right.
And then I found I kind of say it was like my path. And I found Ms. Illinois Belleza Latina, which is also owned by Maria
Of course.
Torres. And I became her Miss Illinois. I became her Miss Belleza Latina International 2018. And at the end of that reign, I had made 98 appearances. I had a goal of 100, but I fell a little short. So I made
Wow.
98. And, you know, I was like, I wanted to get to 100.
I was going to say, you're probably
Maria,
devastated you didn't get to 100 rather than going, I made 98
and
appearances.
I literally held myself to it. I was like, really, Crystal, you could have done this. And so I went on to become Mrs. Latina Galaxy. And I said, you know, this is my last journey. I knew at 42 that I wanted this to be my final run. And I really wanted to be Mrs. Galaxy, not because, this is gorgeous. Don't get me wrong.
That's amazing.
And the banner's absolutely amazing. And the coffee cup I'm drinking out of is incredible. But the
the coffee. Whoa. Bring back the coffee cup. I didn't see that before.
Oh, Maria needs to get you one to Australia.
Oh my God.
It's got the logo and it's got the crown on it. These were our gift at our check-in this year, along with other gifts like T-shirts and tote bags and, you know, all the good stuff that they spoil us with at the Galaxy pageant. Huh?
Is it gold? I can't tell if it's the lighting.
It's gold.
Oh my!
Oh, it's gold. Oh yes, Maria loves gold.
That is one thing that I would use a lot. Is a gold coffee mug. That's something definitely I would get a lot of. Sorry, you can.
No one else is allowed to touch it.
I can imagine.
And so there I was, you know, in my pageant journey. I said, "This was my final run," and I really wanted to win. I wanted to win because I wanted to have an opportunity to be Maria's queen again and to really work the Mrs. Galaxy system. I set high goals, and here I am.
So how important to you has it been that you are working for the second time as Maria's queen? So what's your relationship with Maria like?
I just think that Maria truly loves her queens. She cherishes us. She treats us like her family. And when you've had that type of a director who she loves you, like she checks on your kids. We check on her dogs, you know.
I saw that. Yeah.
It's true. And, you know, and she FaceTimes you and she makes sure that you're doing well. And she knows that pageantry has this space in your life and that she respects your life and all the things you're doing. And she congratulates you on things that have nothing to do with pageantry.
Yeah.
That's the relationship that I wanted to have with a director. And when I met Maria Torres, I knew that was the relationship I felt. So I was like, I'm going to give it another shot and try to be her queen back to back. And so it would be 2017, 2018, 2019, and now through 2020.
Wow.
I get the opportunity to, I call it work for her. She's like my boss.
What is she going to do without you?
I don't know. She's going to be stuck with me for life.
I think from the sounds of it, she'll be happy with that. Okay, let me just go back to the...
She doesn't even know she's not getting rid of me. She doesn't even know yet.
No, I've interviewed and worked with a lot of the Galaxy girls who basically Maria can't get rid of from all over the place. They just keep coming back again and again and again and again. Heather Hopkins has asked, so over in the UK, will you be coming to the UK again for UK Galaxy?
I absolutely have I have every goal to be at the UK pageant again. I did get the opportunity to attend last year. It was literally a journey like no other. So yes, my goal is to be at the UK pageant this year.
I remember exactly when it is, on Friday the 13th in March 2020. So,
well, you're really good.
No, I remember because it's Friday the 13th. I mean, of all the days to have your pageant on. Daniel Latimer has said, "Yas, Queen." Rebecca Jane has asked a question. If you could give any advice to me, a newcomer competing again internationally, what would it be? So to give the audience some context, Rebecca Jane is a bit newer to pageantry and she'll be coming back to Galaxy International next year because she was first runner-up this year. So do you have any advice for Rebecca competing internationally next year, given that she hasn't competed quite that as much as some people?
Yeah, you know, Rebecca's amazing. So first things first, hats off to that hardworking queen. I have loved following her journey since she won in the UK. I always say that I think of pageantry as twofold, you know, when it comes to the body of work. So all the wardrobe and stuff, obviously you're going to work to perfect your wardrobe and you're going to work to look your part and have your body where you feel secure, like not necessarily the skinniest, but where you feel the best you can. But I think of it as twofold. Number one, how can you share the Galaxy journey with other people? So how can you make other people see your journey and want to be a part of it as well? And number two, what appearances do you have lined up that make, to me, an international queen. And I don't think that means you got to get on a plane every day. I'm getting on a plane twice in this month alone. But I do think it means like, how can you make that international impact as an international queen? So really it's about sharing the journey with others. I love walking up to women and saying, you'd be a great galaxy queen. You should come to our pageant. It doesn't mean everybody, but there are people out there. And a lot of times just talking to them about galaxy or Belleza Latina in my situation, because I've been in both. Sometimes people will say, I never thought anybody would come up to me and say I could be a galaxy queen. I would love to do that too. And then the other thing is obviously work the appearances and work your title, because to me, a working queen is where it's at. I pride myself on that. And every woman I coach and mentor and inspire, I teach them the same thing. Long after the pretty face is done, it's the work you've done that will sit with you forever.
I love it. How, just on that note, Crystal, how do you go about, you mentioned you did 98 appearances in one of your years. How do you go about selecting your appearances? Because obviously you don't go to every single one that you're asked to. So in your head, how do you select which ones are worth your time and which ones maybe are not aligned with yourself?
I don't do it based on size, because sometimes the smallest appearance can make the most impact to a person. Yeah. So I do it based on, I want to have a diversity of appearances in my year. So for example, last year I did the Uniquely You Special Needs event. I did Souls for Souls. I did Feed My Starving Children, Cradles to Crayons, a hunger march. And I really tried to find the things that mattered to me and align myself with those things. And so I helped with homelessness and Hazard House. And so what I did was I tried to say, okay, these are the things that align with me, and these are the things that a galaxy queen would do. Perfect. And I put them in my book. And once I make the commitment, unless there's an act of God or something terribly wrong, I'm not going to cancel it. So if something else comes up, it may be bigger. It just means I won't be able to be there. And then I commit myself to the system first. So for example, I'll be flying to Canada at the end of the month to go to the Canada Galaxy pageant. So that's my commitment to the Galaxy system is, hey, if the Belleza Latina or the Galaxy system need me, and I'm available, that's going to be my first priority.
I love that level of commitment, because unfortunately I've worked with a lot of queens who will say they're going to turn up and they just don't. And it really lets everyone down, especially if you're running an event and you've announced that a queen is turning up and they don't. It's bad for them, but it also looks really bad for yourself as well. You mentioned things that sort of are fitting of a galaxy queen. So I guess just in your head, what does a galaxy queen stand for?
So I think that a galaxy queen is a hard worker. I think she's family oriented. I think that she respects the system. She respects the director. And I believe that a galaxy queen is able to freely walk up to somebody. I have no problem telling women how great they are. Like, you're awesome. And I think a galaxy queen can do that without being told I'm awesome too. I don't need that. I need to be able to be the missus who can walk up to somebody and say, I think you're pretty awesome. And I think what you're doing at this hunger run or this race is absolutely amazing, or what you're doing to help other women is absolutely amazing. And I think that's what a galaxy queen does. And I think they do it in a way in which is authentic, but that we're not afraid to be able to walk up to somebody and show them how amazing they are.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the comments. That's why I'm looking this way, Crystal. Maria Torres has said she'll save me one of the mugs. I hope so, Maria, because I really want one now. Danielle Latimer has asked, what are you most looking forward to for your return to the UK?
Oh, that's a great question. So I had the time of my life. I never dreamt that I would be able to go to the UK. I did not get to go when I was Ms. Belleza Latina International, just a background on that. So I was allowed to return as I couldn't go my right. year. So I guess the thing I would be looking forward to the most in the UK is to see the amazing UK pageant. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to walk the streets and it's amazing to spend time with the actual queens that are your sister queens. But the UK pageant is amazing. And it's huge. The numbers are huge and it runs so fiercely. And those women are incredible on the stage. And that to me is what I'm looking most forward to, is seeing all the women who come out from all over to compete. And the truth be told, they love each other.
Yes.
They're friends. I mean, I will tell you, we were in the lobby after the UK pageant eating pizza because this is what I think you posted a post on Instagram.
No, I know all about that, Crystal.
And this is what we do. But it didn't matter whether you were the winner, the first runner-up, the second runner-up, or top 10. Everybody was celebrating together.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm so glad that you noticed that, because I was thinking, having interviewed so many of them, it's something I picked up on coming from Australia, and I've never been to the UK Galaxy pageant. I intend to go next year. But that whole family aspect, it's so unusual in any walk of life, and it's so refreshing just to see that the girls genuinely support one another, whether it be at the pageant or appearances. So I'm really glad that I'm not the only one that noticed that.
Well, I think that comes from our national director, our international director, Maria, and their national director, Holly.
Yeah.
They just have that. They have that. So they're queens. It keeps on filtering down. It's pretty cool to see.
And if Holly, you're watching this, or if anyone is in contact with Holly, can someone remind Holly that she's supposed to schedule an interview with me as well? Because I really want to talk to Holly. Now, I'll go through again. We're getting a lot of comments. Well, you're getting a lot of comments. Judy Fuentes Langoni has said she loves her queen so much and their family. That's probably about Maria. Beverly Mary Roberts from Ireland. Hiya, Crystal Cavey. Love you lots, with 3 kisses. Oh, then she said, hi, Adrian, too. Hi, Beverly. Rebecca Wheeler has said, there we go, international impact. Danielle has asked, what legacy, Crystal, do you want to leave behind as a queen?
That I may not be the skinniest, I may not be the tallest, I may not be the youngest, and by some standards, I may not be the most beautiful, but there will never be a harder worker in the room. Period. My mom raised me to be a hard worker. She raised me to be a strong woman. And my grandma used to always say, people can take away anything from you at any moment, but they can never take away your hard work, your passion, and dedication. And that would be what I would want to leave.
I just got chills when you said that.
I know that because I say it all the time to my daughter. I say it all the time.
Just reminded me, Will Smith said he may not be the most talented actor, but he said he won't get off the treadmill until he dies. That's just hard work. That's just what you reminded me of.
That's it.
Rebecca Wheeler has said, Crystal, you are 1 in a million. And Danielle has said pizza in the lobby. Danielle said chills, and I got chills as well. All right. Guys, if you have any questions for Crystal, I know it's late in the UK. I don't know what time it is, but I know it's late. Put them in, and I'll make sure I get them to Crystal. But before we go to the final 10 questions, Crystal, I want to ask you, what do you do outside of pageantry? Because everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a life outside of pageantry. So give us an idea as to what you do outside of the crazy pageant world.
So I've been in sales all my life. So what most people don't realize, and the story I like to share, what makes me very different and makes me very unique, is I was actually the very first person in my family to ever apply and graduate from college. Wow. And I attended Northern Illinois University, and I earned a double degree in corporate communications and organizational communications and a minor in English. And I went on to take a sales position with one of the top consumer good companies in the world. And from there, I've been in sales all my life. I'm also a certified life coach and a certified public speaker. So you'll see me MC and speak at a lot of events. And one of the best events I've ever been able to speak at was I was actually the keynote speaker of the Latino graduation ceremony at Northern Illinois University 19 years after I graduated. Wow. And my pride is, through my hard work, this year, I was named a top 50 alumni in the last 50 years at NIU.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
And so to me, what I do is everything from anything that requires me to speak a little bit. So public speaking, attending events and speaking at events and emceeing events. But by trade, I'm a sales manager. Yeah, probably does not surprise anybody listening to this, by the way.
No, none of that.
But that's what I do outside of pageantry.
Yeah, no, that all makes sense.
I feel like I have like some hats that I really enjoy, but I feel like anytime I'm face to face with someone, talking to them and helping them, like that's really where my passion's at.
I'm hard pushed to think of a better trifecta to take into pageantry than sales, life coaching, and public speaking. I mean, that's just, at least for the speaking part and being on stage. I mean, you must have no nerves. Do you get nervous about any part of the competition? Surely not about interview.
Oh, I do. Don't let me fool you. I always say if you're not naturally nervous, it's going to be a problem for you.
Mm.
So right before I walk out, I usually feel like roll your shoulders and don't stiffen out your back. And then right before the interview room, I always have to say to myself, your name is Crystal Cavey. Don't forget your own name. Don't forget your
Have
own
you ever forgotten your own name?
Not yet. That's because I keep telling myself my name is Crystal Cavey. Don't forget your own name. But it's like one of those things where everybody has natural nerves no matter how good you are.
Yeah, I think sometimes having nerves is a good sign that you're ready. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to, face plant. It just means that you're ready. I think it's a good sign. You've got some energy. Beverly over in Ireland has asked, what appearances have you got lined up in your year?
So I've already done 4 big ones. Being on the phone with you is my 5th. I'm going to Canada Galaxy. I will be at the UK Galaxy pageant. I'm hoping that I can attend other like Massachusetts and Ireland. I'd love to make my way to all of the Galaxy pageants. My goal is to go back to Puerto Rico and to focus on the Marley's Ministry and Bags of Blessing situation and Angel Gown situation. I took my crown back to Puerto Rico last year. I'll be in New York Fashion Week. I'm seeing a fashion show for suicide prevention on National Suicide Prevention Day next week. I'll be doing some work with the Hezet House, which is the #1 homeless shelter in the state of Illinois outside of Chicago, to help collect everything from socks and blankets. We're supposed to get a polar winter here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll be emceeing the huge pageant event in Wisconsin, which brings in 250 queens from across the country. And that's a huge, and I actually know every single one of them by name when they walk across the stage. Oh. I pride myself on that. And I'll be judging some pageants, but more than anything, I want this year to go away and say she was a good queen and she did all she could to represent the Mrs. Galaxy pageant system. And so you're probably going to see me make pretty close to 100 very high quality appearances. And they won't just be in the state of Illinois. I have appearances lined up already in Minnesota, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Canada, New York, Florida, and I'm hoping to get out to the West Coast, the UK, and hopefully Ireland. Those are just the ones scheduled so far that I want to do.
Are you an Illinois native? Are you living in Illinois?
I am.
So
I am in Illinois. I'm about 45 miles outside of Chicago, and I was born and raised in the city.
So next year's International Galaxy is in your hometown?
It's in Chicago, yes. It's about 45 miles from me. Yes, somewhere in Chicago, yes.
You won't have to take a flight for that one. Crystal, just after all those amazing appearances that you put out, now it seems like a good time to ask, what's the best way to keep up with all the appearances? Is it Facebook, Instagram?
Oh, I update my Instagram, which is Crystal Cavey. I keep it super simple. You'll see Mrs. Galaxy 2020 in big capital letters when you go to my Instagram page. The Mrs. Galaxy Facebook page. You can follow me at Crystal Cavey on Facebook, and I keep all of those updated. Maria also updates the Galaxy pageants on Instagram and Facebook. So there's 5-6 ways.
Perfect. And just so you know, Crystal, I've got your Instagram handle at Crystal Cavey underneath. I've had it underneath your video the whole time. So I strongly recommend, guys, if you want to keep up with Crystal's Cavey life, then go and follow her on Instagram, because we've all got busy lives and sometimes it's easy to not see something. Okay, so Danielle has said, yes, represent the girls in sales. I think she's in sales as well. Heather has said, it's nearly 12, it's half past midnight here, but we live for the pageant project interviews. That's nice of you to say, Heather. You're just saying that because I'm interviewing you next week. Catherine Cortez has said, you're amazing. Wish you the greatest year. And Whitney Montgomery has said, love this awesome queen.
Thank you. Thank you, Whitney.
Okay.
As are you.
Guys, I'm going to take Crystal through the final 10 questions soon. So if you have any more questions for her, put them in the comments. Sandal has asked, what do you think the number one thing you would be... Oh, give me a second. I think the question is, what's the number one thing that made you interested in competing in Galaxy to begin with?
The first thing that made me interested in competing in Galaxy was actually that I wanted to be Ms. Belleza Latina International. I came off of going to Mrs. America, and I am half Puerto Rican, and I truly love my heritage. I love my culture. And I knew that I wanted to be Ms. Belleza Latina International. And I reached out to Maria. And once I was in her system, I was hooked to I loved it so much. I knew I wanted to be a part of the Galaxy system as well. So for me, it actually started a little bit different. It started in the Belleza Latina system, and I moved on to the Galaxy system. And whereas a lot of people come straight to Galaxy, for me, the journey started in 2017.
And just because there's probably a lot of Aussies and obviously a lot of UK people watching, can you teach us how to pronounce the pageant name, please, slowly? Not Galaxy.
Maria's going to tell you that Maria says it so much better than me. But I say Ms. Belleza Latina International.
Belleza Latina. Okay. All right. Because that's been bugging me. I can't say it. I've been practicing it the whole week. I just can't say it. Belleza Latina. Okay.
Can I make one more statement?
Of course.
Can I just say one more thing? I know that no one's kind of talked about family at all. And a lot of times, a lot of people wonder, how do you make all these appearances? And how do you do it and have a family? I am a mother of 2 grown children. I have an almost 18-year-old and a 13-year-old son. And I do want to say one thing. As a Mrs. and from a Mrs. perspective, one of the best things that you can do is let them see the great things that you do through pageantry. So they want to be of it too. And I think a lot of times we try to slot out this time where we only go by ourselves and the family doesn't go. But I'll tell you, if you can involve your husbands and your kids and you could take them on the journey with you, it makes this whole pageant lifestyle so much more fun and so much more family oriented. And then you stick to your roots and your values. And for out there who are thinking, I don't know if I have the time to do this. If you get your man behind you, I tell you right now, you'll have the time to do it. It's like get your husband, bring the kids along. There's so many events and appearances where you can take your kids. I often say, take them.
Yeah.
Take them. Because to me, I think it teaches them from a very young age that service is not someone else's job and that you can make a difference. And so I just want to kind of say that if anyone's thinking to themselves, well, how do you do it? And I don't have the time. I always say, take them along the journey with you. What's the worst that can happen? They cry for a moment. If your husband takes them outside or you take them outside, you come back in and they're having a good time. So just my thoughts.
No, that is absolutely super important. And getting your family involved so they're actually part of your journey, it makes it a lot. Because if you're outside the pageantry world, it's extraordinarily difficult to understand exactly what goes on behind the scenes. So you do need to get involved to have an idea. On that note, Crystal, is there anyone else that you want to give a shout out to? Obviously, your family is super important, but just over the years with pageantry and with everything else, is there anyone else that you just want to give thanks to?
Yeah, I have a tribe of like 29 women. I will not name them all, women and men who flew into Florida to celebrate me competing at Galaxy. I want to say thank you so much to them. I want to say thank you to the women who text and message me every day and tell me, great job. I want to thank Maria again for creating an amazing system and then, managing an amazing system that I could be a part of and welcoming me for, welcoming women, not for being perfect, but for all of who we are. At all ages and all sizes. I would like to thank my kids for being on the journey with me. And I would like to thank my husband most of all, to be honest with you. So his name is Billy and I'm Crystal. So we went from Billy and Crystal to Billy Crystal. And I tell you, he is genuinely, without him, I don't know that I could do the things I do. And I'm genuinely grateful. I know he's watching this, or he will be watching it tonight because he had his phone set for it. And I just want to say that without him behind me, I'm married to him almost 19 years. He's the very first boy I ever kissed.
Oh, wow.
And he's been the world to me. So those are my peeps.
I think you're going to make everyone cry after that, Crystal. Okay, let me just run through these. So Catherine Adamson, who's over here in Australia, she said, Crystal, you are legendary as pageant Mrs. Mama. It was fantastic to see you and Tori compete together. Even though it was in 2 different comps, you both were incredible to watch. Well done on all your hard work.
Thank you.
Junior Miss Galaxy Ireland has said, what emotions did you feel when you won in Florida? Be amazing to see you in Ireland and UK. So what emotions did you feel when you won?
I can honestly say that people ask me, and the only word I can use is I was genuinely happy. I felt so happy that I could be a representative for women who grew up without privilege, for Latina women, for women over 40, for women who have given birth to children, for women who aren't perfect, that we could go out there and we could be the very best us. And if it's our time, we will win. And the emotion I felt was a genuine feeling of happy. And it was just, I was happy. I was happy for my family. I was happy that my daughter got to see me win. My daughter competed on the same stage in 2017. And she was like my number one supporter. She's like, go for it, Mom. She's like, win for both of us. And I was in a happy place, and I still am.
Perfect. Let me just find the questions here. Our Teen Galaxy Australia, Tiana, has said, come to Australia, please. Beverly Mary has asked, it's just a short, 34-hour flight. Beverly Mary has asked, what advice would you give if queens come back to compete in Galaxy Internationals?
The best piece of advice that I would give is take a look at your videos, take a look at what you did. Don't defend whatever we did when we were competing, but ask yourself, is there something that I would change? Is there something that I would adjust? Or do I need to keep everything exactly the same and it just was not my day? Watch your videos. Think about your interview. Reflect on your year. And the biggest thing I would recommend is be a queen with a plan. When I walked into my interview room, I won overall interview in the Mrs. Division at Galaxy. I walked in there and I had a full plan. I said, if you pick me, these are the things I'm going to do. And I promise you I will do them. And I will do them. I've already started doing the work. I will make those judges proud of me. And I will do everything I promised to do. I'd say be a queen with a plan, but more than that, be a consistent queen before you go.
Oh, yeah.
Do the work up front, and then people will know you're going to do it on the back end.
Yep.
I wear this crown a lot. I put it on my head at every appearance. I wear this sash with pride. Be that queen. Because to me, that's what systems need. Pageantry numbers are not 1 million girls in a division. And, so be the queen that goes out and works the events, is consistent, and has a plan for winning.
I love that. I love that a lot. And I think that's super, super important to not only have the plan, but to prove that you're committed even before you walk into that interview room. I think that's super important. You prove that you can be trusted to take the title seriously. Heather Hopkins has asked, what is your best piece? What is your best piece of advice for going into a pageant interview? I mean, you've already talked about having a plan. Would that be it? Or is there any other advice for going into pageant interview?
I think the first thing is take a deep breath so your voice doesn't crack, because it's customary for our voices to crack and they get real loud and high pitched.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. I say it's very simple. Know the things you want the judges to know about you. And so whether they're, hey, here's my plan for international impact. Here's why I love the Galaxy system. Here's the reasons you should pick me. Yeah. Here's why I'm the most consistent queen in the room. Know the things that they should know about you. Don't be so worried about being different. We often think to ourselves, I got to be different in order to win. You actually just need to be your very best self that day. And be comfortable with walking into the room with a smile, and know judges are human too. Their job is to pick the right queen. All they want to do is get it right. They want to get it right for the director, and they want to select the right queen. So when you walk into that room, be comfortable in the skin that you're in, and know they want the right queen. And if you present that information to them and you present yourself to them in that way, there's a good chance you're going to get the job.
Perfect.
The other thing I would say is view the opportunity of this as a job. Treat it like you would treat a job interview in a top sales company.
Yeah. Chris, so I'm going to let you go through these comments afterwards. You've got a lot of messages of support.
Of course.
I'm just going to find any more questions. You've had a couple of people say thank you for the family aspect and being in the Mrs. Division. I think that's hugely important. And okay, so guys, if you have any more questions for Crystal, put them down below. And if we don't get to them in the interview, I'm sure she can get to them afterwards in the comments. But I'm going to take Crystal through the final 10 questions, as I have everyone else. And then we'll circle back and see if there's any last minute questions. So Crystal, here we go. Final 10. Number 1, what is your favorite word?
Coffee. Favorite word is coffee. I wake up with it, and tonight I'm going to bed with it.
In a much prettier mug than my own. Question 2. What is your least favorite word?
It's a really bad word, so I won't say it.
Okay. That's exactly what Maria said as well. Okay, well, what Maria didn't say as well. Yep, got that. Okay, question 3. In life, what gets you excited? What turns you on?
My husband.
That is a good answer.
Always.
That is a good answer.
Billy gets me excited. Our planning together, our life together, and the life we've built together.
Perfect. All right, question 4. What turns you off?
People who lie. And they don't hold firm to their word, and they say that they're going to do something, and they don't.
What sound or noise do you love?
I like the sound of brewing coffee in the morning because what you cannot see is my coffee station is actually in my bedroom. No. So it wakes me up in the mornings. I have a full coffee station that says, "Hello, beautiful." And I also like the sound of rain.
Coffee. I was going to guess it was going to be coffee, but I wasn't going to guess that you had a coffee station in your actual room.
I have a whole coffee bar.
Oh, God. Question 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
Chewing. Sometimes people chew like really loud in your ear and you're just like this.
Yep. Nope. I get that completely. Chew with your mouths closed, kids. Question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
I would pick the superpower of, I'd probably be invisible. I'd like to creep around, see what people are doing out there without them knowing I'm right there. So I'd probably be invisible and creep around a little bit.
Okay. It's always the ones that say they want to be invisible that worry me the most because of what they want to do with it. It's always the mischievous ones. And there've been a few of the Galaxy Girls who said they want to be invisible. Question 8. What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
I would love to fly a plane. That would be the daredevil in me that would love to fly a plane. I'd be terrified, but I would do it.
I don't know if you saw, but in the news, I don't know if it was in Australia or somewhere else, there was someone who was on their first flight lesson. The flight instructor passed out, and the student had to land the plane with guidance from the tower in their very first lesson.
That would be my luck.
I'm sure you'd be fine. Just tell yourself that your name is Crystal Cavey, and then you'll be able to land that plane.
Right, that'll do it.
Question 9. What job or occupation other than your own would you definitely not like to attempt?
Yoga instructor. I talk way too much for that.
Namaste. Okay.
I'd be that girl that'd be like, "Hi, girl, how was your morning? Did y'all have your coffee? Who's got this?" I would be the worst yoga instructor in the world.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You did it, girl.
Love it. I am going to just... And Danielle has said you are a legend for having a coffee station in your bedroom.
It's pretty awesome.
Okay. And then Little Munchkin's Resale Shop has said, "Love you, Crystal." Okay.
That's Autumn Castine. She is one of my top sponsors, and she sponsors a lot of my wardrobe.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to keep you on the call just for a second longer, Crystal, but I'm going to let the audience go. And as I said, Crystal, there's a lot of comments in there, messages of support, so I'll let you go through them and respond to them.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone for your support. It means so much to me. And I promise to make you proud this year as your Mrs. Galaxy.
Perfect. Okay. Well, wherever you're watching from, thank you so much for watching live or on the replay. And we will speak to you again very, very soon. Hey, it's Adrian. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast. Make sure to subscribe to get details of our new episodes as they drop. And connect with us on social at The Pageant Project. Speak to you next.